Hello and welcome. This is going to be a guide on Sylvanas in Black Fathom Deeps. I've seen a lot of people asking how best to play her, and I think you really want to try and cycle in PvE with some unbound tanking, and you want some physical range damage to help support her. So I use Ghoul with Bone Shield to tank. I think it's pretty much the most mandatory talent here because it allows him to be a little bit more resilient. And I use the Troll with Big Bag Voodoo. You could use any talent on him. And then on Sylvanas, I think that Dark Arrow is the best talent by far. It allows you to pierce and do a lot of damage. Makes her into an S tier defense. So starting out here, I send my Kobold left to secure the chest because it's cheap and I don't really have any other gold mines I can take. And I use my Gnomish Safe Pilot to secure the ridge and get rid of those Murlocs. Every 30-35 seconds or so, more Murlocs will spawn. And unfortunately, he pushes me really hard, so I'm going to use my Bat Rider to kill his push while my tower tanks. Sometimes you got to use your base health as a resource. Unfortunately, he defends very well. So I get a little bit lucky and my Banshee takes a mostly healthy Stone of Tarn. So it allows me to build a little bit of a push back. And I also get this chest in the interim. So I use my Safe Pilot here to hit a lot of different units. And this is why I like coming in hot, because it can help you clear out these big pushes very quickly and it can protect your backline. You'll notice that I use my Quillbore here to kind of tank the Ogre Mage, and I'm going to do so in the future. You want to try and save your Quillbores for that purpose. I get a little bit lucky, and all these Earth Elementals pushing forward allows me to build up a counter push because it takes so long to kill them. I send out a Kobold again on the left to secure the chest, and as long as he doesn't spawn anything to challenge me, I should be able to take it pretty easily. Again, I don't really have control of any of the gold mines. You notice here I'm using my flying unit to challenge these Murlocs in the ridge. It's a nice little trick you can use. I could have used my Quillbore to do that, but I needed it to tank this Ogre Mage like I was talking about before. So we're going to take the tower finally, and this is going to give us a little bit of room. I'm going to drop a Ghoul to prevent this Wolf from charging my base. If the Wolf had charged my base, I probably would have just lost. You'll note that this Earth Elemental is moving forward. This is another reason I have the Bat Rider in my deck. It's just to do elemental damage and try and get this guy down quick. I kind of just move away from that because I figure if I don't defend that there, I'm probably not going to win. So now we're going to develop our push. Generally speaking, if you're in this position, you may want to just restart, but spoilers, yeah, we do pretty well here and we do manage to secure a nail-biting win. So moving forward now, we want to try and build up a Death Ball push. It's nice that the Ghoul kind of moves forward because Sylvanas has this thing where Horde and Undead units will move 30% faster around her. So you can use that to your advantage and try and get the Ghoul out a little bit in front of her so that you have a tank that is offset and little splash damage is not done as much to your surrounding units. So I try to take that chest with the spiders with my Quillbore, but unfortunately there's something wrong with the spiders and they just annihilated my Quillbore. I think it's because they're super tanky and their resistance thing is actually not telegraphed very well. Yeah, so they have this resistance border on their level and it says that they're taking less elemental damage, but in reality they actually take 2 times as much elemental damage and they have bonus health. They're the only unit that works like that, so it's kind of gives a conflicting message of what you're supposed to do against them. So yeah, don't use your Quillbore to try and take out spiders. It's a bad trade overall. You'd want to try and use a elemental damage unit. Bat Rider would have been good, I think. So we're running out of time here. We're going to try and build a death push. And I noticed that I can take this gold mine with my Kobold, so I'm going to do that. I use the cheat death because I feel like I'm going to get counter pushed here, but unfortunately it was not used very well. Generally speaking, you want to wait until the opponent has like multiple units moving forward into you. And now we're kind of running down to the wire. We got 15 seconds, so I just start cycling my cheapest units because I don't think I'm going to be able to push through this. And I try and use my Safe Pilot and my Quillbore to do enough damage to the boss. And we just barely get there. Easy. So Leeching Poison is really good normally. And Band of the Protector, I think, has the best synergy with this deck. So we're going to actually take Band of the Protector, even though Leeching Poison has insane synergy with melee units normally. And that's because we want to cycle as quickly as possible to get to our ranged units, because they're going to be the damage dealers. And we use the Band of the Protector to get a nice tank out in front to protect our ranged units. And that's going to make a huge difference on this map. So you'll notice I actually use my Safe Pilot there to clear out his big push of air units. Like I said before, you want to try and maximize your value with your Safe Pilots by making sure that it hits as many air units as possible. Again, we're kind of trying to do these slow, big pushes. We have a lot of ranged units behind like a ghoul or something to tank. Unfortunately, because of the positioning, my ghoul kind of gets lost in the shuffle, but it's okay because this guy tends to play squishy air units that my ranged units will do very well against. So now we're going to try and drop a Quillbore, and you're going to see that this boss is made incredibly short work of. It's actually a very strong push for this boss simply because he has elemental resistance, and we have the troll doing a lot of damage to him. I used my cheat death a little bit early there. If I'd saved it, this would have been a lot easier to do because I wouldn't have lost half my push. But yeah, you can see that this build is very strong against the second boss. I think the match lasted about a minute. These last relics are not that good. I go ahead and take the incendiary rounds just to add a little bit of extra damage to my pushes here. I think the level 1 is actually really bad. So I don't spawn anything right away because I want to stockpile gold and do a slow push out of my base. We really need to try and take this head on the left and then also take the tower if possible. If I had been a little bit quicker, I could have used Quillbore to tank and preserve my ghoul. Then I would have had a little bit bigger of a push. You want to try and use your Quillbore to tank those elemental murlocs and preserve your push. Unfortunately, if you're -3 levels like I am on my ghoul, he's just going to get annihilated by elemental damage. So now that we're about to secure this tower, we want to try and put our focus on the right. And you'll notice I'm using my Safe Pilot to just clear out his entire push. This is why I like coming in hot. It's a lot easier to time, and it just nukes all of those little squishies down quick. We've secured the tower on the left. I can now take the mine, and we're going to start our push on the right because we want to try and take out this head and then crash all of our units on the head on the left as well. We're going to use a Quillbore here to distract him because he likes to drop poison and slime. And the Quillbore has elemental resist, which makes him a lot better at tanking the poison. I decide to deny him this chest. Overall, it's not the best value, but I have the gold to do it, and my push is doing pretty well. If I had been under greater distress, like my tower had been under attack, I would have used my Safe Pilot to defend. Now we're going to move everything to the left here. We're going to try and crash 2 waves on this boss at the same time. So we have the one group moving left of the bridge. And as they get closer to the boss, I'm going to spawn one underneath. I'm also waiting a little bit for some of my units to be in a better position. And then we use our Quillbore to tank this guy. The armored one shoots lightning breath. You can see he's armored because he has the silver portrait around his level. And we're going to push really hard on this first boss here. Now, it's really important to not lose your base because sometimes you'll get backdoored. So just bear in mind to watch your base. I thought I was going to lose my entire push here to the lightning breath. Normally, it does a lot of damage. I think I used my cheat death a little bit too early there. If I had waited a little bit longer, I would have had a lot more of my push still alive. But you can see here, this ghoul is doing a lot of work and he's staying alive. So I'm getting backdoored by these raptors, and he also tried to backdoor me with a Quillbore. This is why I said earlier you might want to just restart if your base gets that low, because sometimes they can just backdoor you and one-tap your base. And yeah, we secured the boss without even realizing it was going to happen because the death ball push is just so self-sustaining. So yeah, this is a pretty solid build, I'd say. I was down, 2 levels on average, 2.5 levels on average, but I would say the core of my army, the Sylvanas, the Troll, and the Ghoul, which is doing most of the work, was actually down 3 levels. So yeah, this is a pretty solid build, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. I hope you have fun, and good luck on your runs in Black Fathom Deeps. We'll catch you on the flip side. Thank you all for watching. Take it easy. Peace.